We have, as it were, a symbol of the first Mass, as Jesus comes and starts with the liturgy of the Word and breaks open the Scriptures to the disciples, and then he breaks bread, gives them the Eucharist, and he disappears from their sight. Why? Because now he is present to them in the Eucharist. You may remember, we've talked about this before, that the Second Vatican Council speaks to us about Christ being present in 4 different ways in the Mass. You remember this, right? That he's present in the Word. He is present in the person of the minister, the priest. He's present in the assembly. And he's present par excellence, as St. Paul VI would say, in the Eucharist. And so we look at these 4 different presences. We see he is present. And here we hear how their hearts were burning within them, that he was present in them in that way. He was present through the Word as he spoke to them and broke it open to them. He was present in the minister as it was Christ himself breaking the bread. And then he was present in the Eucharist to them. But these 2 disciples are no better than us in so many ways. They didn't recognize Jesus. And it's very easy to go through the Mass and not recognize his presence. Sometimes it's easy to recognize his presence maybe in the Eucharist if we have a great devotion to that, but we might not recognize his presence in the Word. Or, for instance, not of course if Father Kelly's celebrating Mass, you recognize Jesus in him, but in me you might say, was Jesus really present in Father Vaughn? I don't know. But then we also might struggle in recognizing Christ present in the assembly, in our own selves. Recognizing, wait, God is here in the people around me. He's here present in me. And in all this, Jesus is inviting us today to have our eyes opened, to recognize his presence as he comes, sometimes subtly, speaking to our hearts through the Word, in our encounters with the people around us, in seeing him in the Eucharist, asking us to recognize that he is present, because the more we strive, and it does take some work, it is of course an act of grace, but it also takes work on our part to say yes to it and to say, yes, I want to recognize your presence here. But the more we strive to recognize Christ present here in the Mass, in those 4 different ways, the more we'll start to recognize his presence in each person around us as we go out these doors, as we are shopping, as we're at work, in all the different places where we encounter people, maybe even the hardest, those within our own family that we live with, recognizing Christ present there. Because after all, Jesus said in that 5-fingered prayer, "You did it to me." When we recognize Christ, when we act in mercy, act in love to the people around us, we know we did it to him. He is somehow present in the sufferings, in the turmoil, and the torment of each person around us. So may we truly be open to God's mercy and grace moving in our lives, and may we do the work we need to cooperate with that grace in recognizing the very presence of Christ here in the Mass and in all the areas of our lives.